Fred Again's Actual Life 3, January 1st to September 9th, 2022. Literally, as I read that, Spotify crashed.
It's okay. 13 songs, 40 minutes long. This is the third in, as you can probably infer, Fred Again's Actual Life series. These are
Yeah.
more or less have been his albums that piece together a lot of the, projects and things he's been working on, especially since 2020. And, I think Fred Again has really gotten a lot of a lot of attention over the past year, especially for these really raw emotional tracks that dig into they're raw emotional tracks that have voice recordings and different feelings within that. They have really nice house beats surrounding them. A lot of times they're really bumping and energetic, but a lot of times they do that bliss point thing in EDM that happens without making it too obscenely annoying or obnoxious. And so this is the latest culmination of that. I liked a substantial number of things on this album. Sean, what did you think?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I like it. There's a lot of sounds, a lot of things in here that I enjoy. Like the opening track, Ilar, Shutters. Each track has a little thing in parentheses talking about it. But I like how it's unapologetically EDM without being like obnoxious EDM that we've been getting a lot, right? It's stripped back. It has a lot of house beats, a lot of things that I like to hear, like with Delilah, the third, just technically third, but second track. Really like how it's pasted with that. It plays out very well for an album, which is nice. Because I feel like we reviewed, Actual Life the April 17th to December 17th,
I don't
2020.
think so. Like
And
I mean, this I don't remember. Maybe you had like a recommendations thing around the
maybe
bubble,
I
but
recommend.
like
I definitely remember listening to it,
yeah,
and it was
because
like
so to me,
there was
I'll
stuff
shout.
that I like.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So oh no, I was just saying like comparing it. I like this one a lot more,
All I was
a
saying is
lot
that
more than.
to me, Ghost producer Kyle introduced me a lot to Fred again this year, so I definitely think it was a
Oh, okay.
2022 thing.
Okay, gotcha. Like I said, but I definitely listened to it. But like with it, I know like with Fred again, a lot of people expect like bangers or different other things with it, and it's nice where this is stripped back a little bit with that, so it's a lot more introspective and quieter type of EDM. But it's what I prefer. There's some tracks
I mean,
that
like the,
actually
the
remind me of
Delilah is like pretty banging, to be fair, and you do have a
yeah,
few tracks that are like that. And compared to other records we've heard this week, more on that later, you definitely do have a fairly energetic record here.
yeah. But not like absolutely in your face. Because example, like in the middle of the record, you have Nathan, Daniela, I think Kelly as well, that are a little bit like slower with it, and it reminds me a lot of Zoo, which it's like that type of EDM I really enjoy because I like that more introspective and chiller beats with it, and that's what I like within this compared to his other Actual Life projects that have gone on.
Danielle, especially, I think it's a little bit of a slower
It's
thing.
so
It
good.
does a lot with that slower, I guess, approach. And yeah, the interludes between people talking to each other that are kind of like these really intimate moments that are being shared between couples or friends are really pepper the songs well in ways that
Mhm.
traditional vocals wouldn't. Like, yeah, what Sean's saying, I think what Sean's trying to say is like, this isn't traditional, like, big room EDM where there's
No,
a massive build up and then a drop. It's, electronic music is as it is, but this does not fit in that motif at all, thankfully, because for not just the past couple years, like we've talked about the drone of trap, but EDM is much worse. It's been like this for
EDM is
about a
horrible.
it's been like this for about a decade. And you have, gems that come
Yep.
out here or there and things that are, more indie approach or more alternative approach, but they're so synthy or so electronic that you kind of bunch it into EDM out of just, shame and pity. But there have been some years for the Audioface Awards where it's one of those it's probably the genre category that most often has been slim pickings. In our this will be our sixth Audioface Award coming up this year. So in our 5 past years of doing awards. So I am glad that this year is a lot different. You're getting artists that are doing more
Hmm.
unique things on the electronic music game and uh, can definitely say the same with Fred again here. Danielle is one of those moments where it's a little bit slower and smoother, but I think probably my favorite song is Clara, song 11 at the end, because
Claire, yeah.
yeah, it gets very energetic and yeah, I really like that jungle Fred again. That's like probably one of my favorite Fred again tracks. It's a very big favorite. Like a lot of people like that song.
Yeah.
And Clara, you kind of get a lot of that hype, a lot of that fun and intensity. But I like that you have right after that Winnie parentheses end of me, which brings it all back down. And there's a remarkable, I definitely wouldn't say this is the most cohesive project, but there's a surprising amount of connection between the tracks. I haven't heard the other actual life projects, so I'm not sure. Sean, maybe you could provide some context to that. If there was some overlap, or if you feel like songs on Actual Life 3 belong on 3 as opposed to Actual Life 2 or Actual Life 1.
No, because like no, because they are different projects. Like some of his earlier actual lives are like more funky, and they have different things like Yasmina and Hackney on. I think that's Actual Life 1, if I'm recalling correctly. That's just rifling off the top of my head. Um, where we get those more funky stuff. So when you get over to this record, where it's a little bit more housey, but it's a lot more chill in that regard compared to some of his really early work. It's nice to get that, and I like it a lot. I was listening to, or I heard a few other people's like that wanted a little bit more hyphy typhiness, but I will never agree with that ever.
Yeah,
So I'm impressed with this one. I like it a lot.
that mimics what Kyle, who of course Fred again had said when he went to a listening party. He said that on solid, it's solid on first listen, and a lot of Fred again fans are going to be looking for like a boiler room type of album, but of course they won't be getting that.
No,
But
that's not a Boiler Room
yeah,
album.
yeah. On first listen, he said it came off as kind of samey, but he does say that he does, and he's a big Fred again fan, so maybe he's just like listened to a lot of it. I think he's seen them like a lot of times, so he has a lot of saturation there, to be fair. But he says it peaks in a really beautiful way, and the last few tracks, Mustafa, Claire, Winnie, take you on a roller coaster that sums up the
Yeah.
project pretty perfectly. And so I think that's the distinction. It's not like you get an energy in those last 3 tracks, again not counting the outro because it's like just a little snippet, but you get a lot of this, an energy that helps you work through Actual Life 3, I mean Actual Life as a project between all 3 of them. But from what Sean's saying, they all sound really different, which at least makes someone like me who's upper or higher on the Fred again like iceberg than you or Kyle are want to like dig into more and hear more of like the evolution of what he's gone to.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's a good project. And it's nice this year to get a lot of different EDM sounds and ideas and different electronic things, which we've desperately needed, especially on Audioface. Because there was a time like last year, I was like, I'm not gonna fucking review electronic album. It's just not worth it, you know. And it's good, and I think that I hope that this grows on a lot of the Fred again fan base that wants more Boiler Room hits, you know, more really bangers and stuff. I want them to branch out and really get to dive into different styles of electronic music. So I think it's a move in the right direction from him. It's a good sound, and it's nice that, you know, compared to the other actual lives, it's good. It's probably my favorite of his actual life series. So
I mean, the chaotic version of me is actually like good. All the people who want the big room stuff, like please filter out of EDM slowly. Like it's almost like my Los Angeles rant about transplants, the one that ends in "get off my freeways." Like if you can't handle the heat, please get out of the kitchen, because those of us who are fine with it would like some more room in the fucking kitchen. So
right.
yeah, if it's a natural filtration that gets people to broaden their horizons and sort of draws those sorts of people into electronic music, then it can only be a good thing, where that is what fans kind of what demand when they're at festivals, and that's what they get drawn to. And then the people who draw festivals sort of see, okay, people are more interested in this band than that band, this who will make the headliners, and then it becomes a positive cycle in that way. But I think that's more of a
Overall,
lofty goal
good.
than what Fred again came for here. I'm just kind of
Yeah,
saying my hot take is good. Let's do that in that case.
yeah.
All
Arbitrary scale this week was we do arbitrary scales here on Audioface because our review is our review. Take it for what it is and listen to this record. Anyways, arbitrary scale is Elon Musk's broken promises, which there are many, many broken promises. To me, this is the 1,000 times he kept promising like SpaceX launches that would have to constantly get delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed because the technology wasn't there or they didn't have enough parts or weather or whatever, and they weren't able to get something up on time.
Oh God.
Which is just like too many to count.
Yeah. It's this is going to be his intent on creating X out of things. First, it wanted to be a payment process, and then it was a car thing. That's why there's a Tesla Model X. But he has the obsession with X. He has X.com as a thing he owns. He wants to turn Twitter into, quote, X the everything app, like a Weibo or whatever, like
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Facebook. It's a failed and broken promise, and it's not going to work because, in many ways, Elon Musk owning Twitter is a poison pill. It was, forcing him to buy it, and now it's going to be a poison pill on his reputation and his life and his future, and unfortunately, Twitter. So a good thing, Syndicate 23 Network is on a bunch of different platforms, and it's not just based on Twitter. And it's not even that heavily invested on Twitter. So high five for Dan on strategy. Anyways,